Well, it's almost time to say goodbye. It is, isn't it? Now, people would usually, and have done in the past, leave this until the last few moments of the last hour. But I want to have a right laugh, if that's all right with everyone, after 8:30. I don't want to leave melancholy. So I'm going to do the goodbye now. I'm going to do the end in the middle, if that's all right. I know I'm not conforming, but then when has that ever stopped me in the past? So here's the big goodbye. You ready? Yeah. And then if you prefer it to be at the end, then you can go on the BBC Sounds app, and then you can jiggery poker it towards the end if you like. I mean, that's not the technical term, but you can do whatever you need to do. You can catch up and rewind and replay and that kind of stuff. So all I really want to say is thank you. Thank you for everything. Thank you to the BBC for supporting me and entrusting me with one of their precious microphones for the last 13 years, for allowing me to grow every minute of every day I've been on the air. Whether it be live from Glastonbury, as we mentioned before, live from the beaches of northern France for the commemoration of the Normandy landings, or having a blast in the middle of one of our regular Friday shows, the mayhem there with all the usual attendant nonsense that they involve, the mercurial, magnificent guests, all that amazing music, right here in Sir Terry's old studio, Studio 6C of Wogan House in London. Thank you to everyone who's ever produced the show, assisted in the production of the show, and anything at all to do with the stellar content that I've been gifted over the last 8 years. Thank you to Children in Need for giving me the biggest why of my life to come up with as many hows as I possibly could to give people a right laugh under the pretence of raising pots of cash for Pudsy's piggy bank. It's the most selfish thing I've ever done. One of which was coming up with and staging a festival within 40 days and nights to keep my mind off eating bread for Lent. You may or may not remember this, but that's how Carfest came about, which I have to thank Big Chris for, who helped me put Carfest together, and many other things since with the help of his awesome team. Thank you to my superb agent, Michael. We've been together for longer than any of our marriages. Whoa. I know. And there's been 5. And let's hope maybe one more, as far as he's concerned. No, not as far as I'm concerned, says Tash's sister, waving no from behind the glass. Anyway, the point about Michael is, without Michael's love, without his loyalty, without his support, I simply, not only would I have not done most of the things that I've been grateful enough and lucky enough to achieve, I wouldn't even be here now. I wouldn't actually be here now without Michael. I love you, Michael. Thanks to Leslie, my original boss here at Radio 2, I know she's listening, for believing in me back in 2005 and giving me a second chance to hopefully not mess things up this second time around. Thank you to Helen for being my first producer here at Radio 2 and championing all of the shows we made together that led somehow to us being given this show. How did that happen, Helen, behind the glass with us this morning? Thank you so much. I love you too. I love you all.
He's actually lost his purse.
Thank you to Bob and Lewis for all their support during my stewardship of this show. Thank you to my assistant, the Frothy Coffee Man, for being by my side 24/7, 365 days of the year for well over a decade now, especially for his tireless efforts concerning children in need, where they are concerned. He's the real hero of all that. Thank you to all my friends and family for putting up with me and the occasional nonsense that comes with having someone in your personal orbit that does a job like this, particularly my daughter Jade and her fantastic mum Alison. Thank you, of course, to you all for listening. But most of all, of course, I would like to thank my wife, Natasha. My gravity, my compass, my guiding light, for giving me enough certainty and security to be able to feel confident enough to embark upon a bit of uncertainty once again, which is what I like. I crave the uncertainty, but you can only do that against a backdrop of certainty and security. Uncertainty is where creativity lives. Comfort and creativity are not the greatest of bedfellows, let me tell you. Put another way, to read a book, you have to keep turning the pages. But to write a book in the first place, you have to do exactly the same. The sight of a blank page strikes the fear of God into some, but for others, there's nothing more exciting. So with your blessing, that's precisely what I'm going to do. None of us look forward to saying goodbye to the things and people we love, but that's simply because we love them so much in the first place, which is precisely how it should be. Why would we ever want it any other way? The choir of Bishopsgate School, Noah. That's your school.
Yep.
And one of your teachers sorted that out for us, which is rather beautiful, and Eli led the charge on that one. So that's it, we're going. You know where we're going. If you don't know where we're going, we're going to Virgin Radio, but Zoe Ball is definitely staying here with the mothership that is BBC Radio 2. It's been an absolute blast. It's been over in what seems like 9 minutes as opposed to 9 years. So have a happy Christmas. Vassos would like to say the same, I know that, and Jules as well.
Yeah, happy Christmas.
Merry Christmas,
And
everybody.
everybody else, and Noah, and Eli. Happy Christmas, Eli.
Merry
Tom, and
Christmas.
everybody else. Merry Christmas. But listen, we really do have to go now. Right, song sheets at the ready. This is going to be a challenge, unrehearsed. Thanks for coming to see our show. Sad to tell you that grab your hat and get show. Tell everyone, but if you think it is, keep your big mouth shut. Keep your big mouth shut. We're glad you came up in Hampshire. Adios or a party, change for ta-da!
Absolutely brilliant. Thank you, Chris. Good morning. Gary Davis sitting in for Ken Bruce on this Christmas Eve. Welcome.